Good morning. I love M&Ms. They remind me of when I was a kid, but lately they also make me think of something I can't quite put my finger on. Anyway, we normally designate one Sunday in early summer to recognize CPC individuals and groups for their contributions of time, money, and creativity to missions projects from the previous year. This time, however, we'd like to acknowledge the entire CPC family for never losing their missional mindset since the pandemic began 18 months ago. At the beginning of the pandemic, we started a special fund for the poor and homeless, and since March of 2020, you've contributed close to $5,000 to our health crisis offering. These funds were divided between Community Resource Center, Interfaith Community Services, and New Day Urban Ministries, all of whom provide local, frontline support to those in need, those who were especially impacted by the pandemic. Also early on, your session voted to join many other faith organizations in supporting Jubilee USA's successful request that global banking authorities cancel 2020 debt payments for developing nations to free up resources to fight COVID. And then the two Presbyterian disaster assistance grants that CPC applied for and received helped some of those most at risk from the effects of the pandemic. One grant provided $25,000 in startup funding for a free health clinic serving the immigrant and asylum-seeking communities with otherwise limited or no health insurance coverage. The other grant allowed us to provide weekly food supplies for an extended period directly to 10 La Mirada Academy families with no income source or ability to get to the school for the weekly food distribution. And speaking of the food distribution, even with school closed to in-person learning for many months, CPC members found ways to deliver hundreds of food bags to La Mirada families and provided special care for 10 of the poorest families with personalized grocery deliveries, even throughout the summer. Also for La Mirada children, our drive-up, drop-off drive provided K-3 kids with needed school supplies. Even with social distancing, you still found ways to reach out to those in our community and connect with each other at the same time. You made missions memories with the Enchanted drive-through and the Living Nativity drive-through in 2020. These mission outreach events were huge successes that provided a safe and fun break for our neighbors from the uncertainties and stress of the pandemic. You flexed your missions muscle when you gave generously to the Presbyterian Disaster Fund and to One Great Hour of Sharing, nearly $6,000. These contributions went all over the country and the globe and included helping wildfire, hurricane, and winter storm victims, as well as assisting those affected by the Beirut explosion. In August 2020, you covered the entire household setup cost, including a bed for a homeless veteran, and in October, you supported Community Resource Center's domestic violence program as part of your Peace and Global Witness offering. The So-So ladies kept busy during the pandemic by making hundreds of layettes for Camp Pendleton's enlisted families who welcomed new babies. They also sewed stylish facial masks and the proceeds from which helped support the legal asylum-seeking family we have sheltered here on our campus for over 2 years now. And from a contribution standpoint, you closed 2020 with a flourish, generously supporting 11 missions organizations, in spite of our having to take the alternative Christmas market online due to the pandemic. But you didn't stop there. When the Interfaith Shelter Network had to completely change their 2021 operation and house participants in hotels, you mustered up for mission and contributed $5,000 to help make that happen. The revised program has gone very well and is actually still providing a safe shelter for households while they find homes and employment with a high success rate. When I started to review our missions work since the beginning of the pandemic, I planned to tally up all the money so generously donated for the different fundraisers we've held. And while that's an important part of missions milestones, What really struck me was how many different ways you made a difference and still reached out to those in need, near and far, in the last 18 months. In Matthew 17:20, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." The tiny mustard seed in this parable was able to grow into a big, strong tree, just as when there is a little bit of faith, it can grow and spread and impact everyone it comes in contact with. During the pandemic, the CPC family exhibited just that kind of faith, that we could still help others and the perseverance to do it. It's safe to say that you truly moved mountains for missions during the pandemic. Thank you so much.